Hey guys, Chairman here. Welcome to the last episode of the Hololive Trial Deck upgrade packages. Woo! Really excited to finally get to the last one. We're going to be looking at Generation 5. Last one, let's do it. Here we go. Let's take an overview at the contents of the trial deck. So first of all, pretty standard ratios. Got 2-1 beaters, level 0 beaters, level 1 combo, and a 1-0 event counter, which is kind of unique. Standout cards from this trial deck include this 0-0 Botan, which is a pay 1, and you can clock a Hololive from your waiting room to the bottom of your clock, and then look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose a character, add to your hand. So it's a pseudo Riki effect that also allows us to fix for color. So solid card. We also have this 0-0 Nene. It's a on-play pay 1, discard a card, look at the top 3 cards, add anything to your hand, so you can add climaxes or events with that. But more importantly, when she gets reversed, if you have 2 or less memory, she can send herself to memory for free. And as you guessed it, Generation 5 is a memory-based deck, so we do want to have as many cards in memory as we can. Obviously, the TD doesn't really index into that too much, but the booster set definitely does. It is a strong part of the Generation 5 package. The Polka combo is pretty good. I think it's definitely a very serviceable endgame combo. And the 3-2 Botan is very interesting because it comes out of this 2-1 Nene as a trap change. So when the 2-1 Nene gets front attacked at the encore step of that turn, she can pay 1 and send itself to waiting room to bring out the Botan. Now, upgrading Generation 5 is going to be a really interesting process because Gen 5 does not have a single double rare card. All the cards from Generation 5 in the booster set are rare and under. So technically speaking, we have the entire Generation 5 card pool to work with for upgrading this deck. Now, because of that, a lot of the cards in this TD are actually going to go because there are a lot of really good Gen 5 cards in the booster set that I want to introduce to make this deck really good. There are 2 ways to approach building for Generation 5. You're either playing the Polka top end with the gate, or you're playing the Nene top end with the standby. If you're playing the Nene top end with the standby, one of your key playing points is this 2-1 Nene, because you can standby this 2-1 Nene out at level 1. Then if your opponent front attacks a 2-1 Nene, at the end of that turn, you can sack this to bring out this 3-2 Botan, and this 3-2 Botan gives all your characters 1500 if she's in the front, which starts a really solid board domination game plan. You can also bring out the 2-2 Botan. That's a very solid attacker that can also attack your opponent's back rows. That's how the standby deck works. However, personally, I think if you're just building Generation 5, you don't have access to a lot of the good standby utility that are found in the other generations, particularly Generation 0 with the good Miko cards. Therefore, I don't think standby is the way to go. I think it is best to focus on the 3-2 Polka combo and just generating a bunch of memory. So that's the direction we're going to go. We're not going to be playing standby. We're just going to be playing 3-2 Polka. I actually think 3-2 Polka is really good. Maybe a little bit underestimated by a lot of people. So that's just my take. So let's start with upgrading the trial deck. So first things first, we are going to add a bunch of memory cards into the trial deck, including 4 copies of this 0-0 Botan. We're going to kind of remove some of the cards for this. So this 0-0 Botan has the effect startup. You can pay 1, send this to memory, and you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add any Hololive character. So definitely just a really easy way to fill up that memory. Notably, this does not require you to have a memory. So sometimes this effect is like if you have 3 or less memory or something like that, you can just use this Botan effect anytime. So definitely a card that we can just pay 1 and send to memory just to get that good and nice memory compression. Also allows us to dig into the deck a little bit to get our important pieces. We are also going to be running 4 copies of this 0-0 Nene as a beater. So this 0-0 Nene, whenever one of your other Hololive characters attacks, she gets 1k power. So if she attacks last, she will be 2-5. And when she gets reversed, you can pay 1. And if you do, she rests. And then at the start of the encore phase of your next turn, she'll go to memory. So this is actually a solid way for us to get advantage at level 0. We play her, we swing with her, and then we use 1 stock to save her, so we can swing with her again, and then she goes to memory to fill our memory condition. Generation 5 is interesting because our memory condition is actually fairly specific. We need 3 different names in memory to fuel a lot of our cards. So that's why we need to have different cards that go to memory, not just send a bunch of the same card into memory. For that reason, we are going to be playing 4 copies of the Lami Brainstorm instead of the Botan Brainstorm. Now, the Lami Brainstorm, the reason why I want to play it is in addition to being a search Brainstorm, which is really good, She also has the effect you can pay 1 and send herself to memory to salvage the event. Now we're actually not going to be playing the event, spoiler alert, but in a pinch, if we just need to fulfill another name in memory and we just somehow have not gotten it, we can just always pay 1 and send her to the memory. We can also just do this to pay out some climaxes and just get some extra compression if we need to. So definitely just a useful option to have in a deck that cares about memory. We are going to up the count of the Nene to 3, just so we can see it a little bit early. The thing is, we want to resolve the Nenes before we resolve any of the other level 0s, as the Nene does care about how many cards we have in memory before it, and the other ones do not. And finally, we are going to be playing 1 copy of this 00 Lami. This 00 Lami is on play. You can discard a Hololive character, and you can choose a character in your waiting room, send it to memory, and then at the start of your next turn, you can add that character to your hand. So the interesting thing with this Lami is you can use it as a way to fulfill the 3 memory requirement if you don't have it for a turn, and then the next turn you get that card, so you're not actually minusing, and then hopefully you have a way to fulfill the memory requirement for the following turn. So this is just a really good way to, in a pinch, again, just like this Lami, to get the memory requirement if we need it, and kind of like it just gives us that flexibility, also allows us to have like a delayed filter. Now, we're going to get rid of this 00 Polka, and the card that I'm going to add for it is going to kind of tip you guys off as to the next change we're going to be making, and we're going to add 4 copies of this 00 Boltan. And you know what that means. If we're playing 4 of that Boltan, we are removing the Lami combo. I know. Lami combo, unfortunately, the reason why we're removing it is because it does not have a lot of synergy with the main level 1 that we are playing alongside our level 1 combo, which is the 10 Polka. Now the 10 Polka is when you play it, you can pay 1 and summon any cost 0 or lower Hololive from your waiting room. Generally speaking, this Polka is really good because we can summon our level 1 combo and climax combo with that combo. However, if you use this to summon the Lami requires herself to stay on the field on your opponent's turn in order to resolve the combo effect. So if you actually polka the Lami goes to memory at the end of your turn, and you actually don't get a plus. So the Lami and polka have a bit of anti-synergy that makes it difficult to play with, and the polka is just so good that we need a level 1 combo that can plus on the turn that you play the combo, and that's why we're playing the Boltan. Now the Boltan is actually really good. This whole package is very solid, so this requires a little bit of explaining. So this 00 Boltan is a 2500 beater with the effect at the start of your opponent's draw phase, you can reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a level 1 or higher, you can send this Boltan back to your deck to search this Boltan and add it to your hand. So this effect is commonly known as coin flip. Usually anything that revolves RNG, the community, we call it coin flip. And most coin flips up to this point have been pretty weak. We're looking at 1k, 1.5, 2k power. When you reveal a level 1 or higher, you send the coin flip back to your hand. So that prevents it from getting reversed, usually it kind of denies on reverse effects. However, you keep that coin flip for the next turn. And generally, one of the main weaknesses of coin flip is that after level 0, you don't want another copy of this 00 in your hand. It doesn't actually set up for your level 1 game or your end game, and you just have basically a dead card. Your RNG plusing a dead card. However, what makes this 00 Boltan special is that when you plus, you're not plussing a dead card. You're putting the dead card back into your deck, and you're grabbing your level 1 combo. And the level 1 combo is a really good card, and it helps you transition seamlessly into your level 1 game plan, which makes this coin flip actually way better than the other coin flips out there. Plus, it's also 2500 power, so it's just bigger than all the other coin flips, which is why I think this is actually really worth running, because it helps you get your level 1 combo, albeit randomly, but it actually, I think it scales quite well. Your level 1 Boltan combo requires 1 card in memory to get 3k power on your turn, so it's a 107k power, already a respectable power line without a climax. Oh, speaking of the climax, we are going to play the correct climax. And her climax combo is on reverse. You can search your deck for 2 cards, one of them goes to your hand and the other one goes to your waiting room. So it's a foolish burial effect. Now, the reason why we want to send a card to our waiting room is so we can set up salvage targets for our polka gates. So let's say we search 2 cards, we want to keep one immediately because we want to have it, and we put the second card in our waiting room so that if we trigger a gate, we can salvage that. Or if we're playing standbys, we can set up a standby target, or if we're playing choice, we can set up a choice target. So this is generally a good way to set up targets in waiting room for additional effects. We can also set up targets for our polka to revive. And not only that, but it also mills a clean card out of our deck, which is really useful because, again, milling is good, but we want to make sure we're milling clean cards, because if we accidentally mill climaxes, that actually ruins our compression. So the fact that this bolt-on combo guarantees that it mills clean cards is very, very solid. It's something that's actually really, really strong and not something to be overlooked. We're going to get rid of the other level 1 cards from this deck. We're not going to be running that many level 1 cards. As you can see, we're running actually just a ton of level 0s, and that's because our polka combo at level 3 wants to check level 0 for the burn 3 effect, and if it checks a level 1 or higher, it burns 1. And we definitely want to hit burn 3 more than we want to hit the burn 1. So we're running a lot of 0s. A lot of these are going to memory anyway, so we definitely need a huge count of level 0s so that our polka can be burning for good numbers. Oh, we're going to put this here. So at level 2, we are going to be running still the 2/1 Lami supports. This Lami support is very important for our deck because she has a tap effect. You can look at the top 2 cards of your deck and rearrange them. That's really good for our polka combo. We can confirm the first two triggers for our polka. Polka is reveal, it doesn't mill, so that means that with the Lami we know the next 2 triggers, which are the next 2 polka checks. If we see that there's any 1s in there, then we just don't attack it with the polka on that attack. We're also going to be running 2 copies of this 2/1 Nene. This 2/1 Nene is one of the payoffs for running this memory package. If you have 3 or more unique names in memory, when you use the backup, you can also pay 1 to burn 1. That's a very, very cheap burn counter. Usually burn counters cost 2. The fact that this costs half makes it actually very, very efficient. Also, 2/1 counters are just really good to have. It's a solid amount of power. And we're going to run 1 copy of this 2/1 Lami. This one's 2 or more unique names in memory. She gets 1/500 power and hand encore, and she also gets plus additional 6k when she's fronting a level 3 or higher, which means that she's 14k by herself, and she has hand encore, so if you need to keep her around, you can just discard some other card and she stays around. Just solid card to have, works really well with our memory package. We're going to get rid of the 2/1 Nenes because we're not going to be playing the trap change, and we are going to run 4 copies of the polka early play. This polka early play has a very easy condition, 3 or more unique names in memory. Again, we're running all these unique names in memory. You can use the polka to summon a card that normally doesn't go to memory, like this coin flip, and just send it to memory. She gets 1k power if you have 2 or more other Hololives, so she's 10-5 base, and she's a healer, so just solid early play healer for our deck. Easy condition, we're never gonna miss it. We can protect it with the 2/1 burn counters, just a solid card to have. And last but not least, we are going to be running max copies of the polka level 3 TD combo. This is our finisher of choice. We're not going to be running this bolt-on. Again, we want to check level 0s. The Lami will help us confirm the level 0s. That's also why we're running so many level 0s. And just solid burn. The solid burn combo. We have 8 healers in this deck, so definitely pretty defensive. We can heal down, and then we can use the Lami, or not the Lami, the Nene counter to finish off and close off games if our opponent is just shy of lethal. And that's my take on Generation 5. So I actually think this is the best Generation 5 deck, period. If you're just staying within mono Generation 5, I think this is the way to go. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Maybe you guys have a different approach or a different take on the deck. Let me know in the comments below. And with this, we are done with all the Hololive TD upgrades. I hope this has been a useful series for a lot of you guys in terms of approaching and building the Hololive set. I know Hololive is a really daunting set with a lot of cards and a humongous card pool, so I just wanted to tackle each generation and kind of like the low budget cards, kind of the lower rarity cards, so that we can get familiar with it. And obviously you can look at the double rares on your own time and see how that fits in with all the strategies and stuff like that. I'll have some more deck profiles coming up for Hololive that are also low budget, and I'll be getting my playset soon. We're going to do a lot of testing, hopefully a tier list video. I'm really excited about the set. Hope you guys are too. And that's it from me. I'll see you guys next time.